This video will go through creating a web page. So we're in our demo site, and at the very top you'll notice that there is a button that says Create Page. This button, along with the Edit and the More Actions, these are only going to appear for someone who has either collaborator access or owner access. It will not show for viewers. So to add a new page to our site, we would click on Create Page. And the first thing we're asked for is to select a template to use. For our purposes, for this demo, we're going to create a web page. But if you want to understand what each one is, if you hover over them, it explains what each one is. So a web page is a standard web page. An announcement is a mini blog or a discussion type of page. A file cabinet is a place for file storage, so its main purpose is to store multiple files. However, it still can do a lot of the same things a web page can. There's also a list page, so it gives you the ability to create lists, so whether it's a static list or maybe an ongoing list of items. And the start page we don't go through, but it's called a per user start page. This is not something that we cover in our training, so if you want to learn more about it, you can play around with it on your own. So you want to enter a name, and this is just the title of your page. So for our web page, we will say maybe our we'll call it vendors. So we'll have a vendors page, and then the next section this is where you define where in that hierarchy of your site do you want this page to go. Do you want it to be put at the very top level, which is that first level of navigation, or do you maybe want it as a sub page underneath something else? So if you wanted it to go underneath something else, you would click the second radio button and you could choose where in your hierarchy you would like to put it. Okay, so wherever you'd want to put it underneath, you could select that and click select. For our demo for a web page, we're just going to put it at the top level. Okay, so we'll call it our vendors page. It's at the top level, and we can go ahead and click on Create Page, and it will take us right to that web page, and it's in like an edit mode where you can go ahead and make changes right away. So if you look in the left-hand navigation, you'll see our new page name is Vendors. It's at a top level. Here's our title. So let's say that we added that title, but we want to change it a little bit, so we'll put vendor information. And it won't update in the left navigation until we save. So this is the body area, and the body area is just an open area where you can put all different types of information. So you'll notice that you have your formatting bar, which is just like you have in the email. So you can bold and italicize, change colors and background colors. You can also create links. You can do bullet points. So let's just say that we wanted to put the Google website in here. We could make that bold and maybe blue. And maybe we would want to make it a link. So if we want to create a link to it, we could actually highlight it and click the word link. And in the left side here, there's two different tabs. Either we could link to another page within the site, which may be useful if you want to be interlinking pages within your site. The other option is to link to a web address or an external address. So for our purposes, we'll say google.com. And before you click the OK at the bottom, you'll notice there's this checkbox that says open this link in a new window. So if you want google.com to appear in a pop-up window rather than to replace the current page, you want to click that link. And we always recommend that if your link goes to a site other than your own, you probably want to open it up in a new window so you don't lose focus to your site. Okay, so you click OK. And now this is a link. Okay, you can do other things such as bullet points, just like you can in email. Basically anything you can do in an email body. Then in addition to the formatting bar, you also have these four menu items. You have Insert, Format, Table, and Layout. So in the Insert menu, if you click on that, there are lots of different things you can insert. This is where you can put an image in here. You can insert a table of contents or a subpage listing. You can insert, horizontal line. Something as simple as that can be useful if you're trying to separate information. You can also insert various Google things. So you may have, for instance, this is a calendar. You may have a team calendar that you want to share. So you would click on calendar, and it'll bring up in this window here the different calendars you have rights to. So let's just select this calendar. You're then brought to a screen with some options. You can pick how big do you want it on your screen, what kind of information do you want showing. And you click on Save. And whenever you insert something Google-like this, it's going to appear in this tan box. So in order to actually see what it looks like, you want to click on the Save button. And then there is the calendar that we've inserted. All right. If we want to make more changes to the page, we just click this Edit Page button. And then you can look through the other items in the Insert menu. You can insert Google Docs, spreadsheets, presentations. Then there's also a formatting bar if you want to do different types of headings. There is the option to insert a table, so you can define how large you want the table. You can insert and remove rows from the table. And then there's also a layout, which this is where you can define how you want your page laid out. It always defaults to being just one column, but you might want it in 2 columns, or you might want it in 3 columns. There's different layouts that you can play around with. Okay, so that's a web page. If we save it, you'll notice that our title that we changed in the from vendor to vendor information updates in the left navigation. So those are all the items that you can do with a web page. In the next video, we will go through creating a file cabinet.